Good afternoon, everyone. A warm welcome to the SAARC special lecture organized by the SAARC Cultural Center. I'm Apsara Karunaratne, Culture Specialist Research from SAARC Cultural Center, Colombo. This is the third lecture in the SAARC special lecture series organized for year 2024. And we are delighted to have Dr. Pramod Jaiswal, an eminent scholar from Nepal whose academic interests lie in South Asian affairs. He will be speaking to us on understanding South Asia, the impact of culture on people to people relations. Before we start this lecture, we are honored to have with us the director of the SAARC Cultural Center, Madam Renuka Ekanayaka, to deliver her welcome address.
Good afternoon, everyone. Distinguished guest, Dr. Pramod. On behalf of the SAARC Cultural Center, I warmly welcome you to this special lecture on understanding South Asia, the impact of culture on people-to-people relations. It is an absolute honor to have with us today Dr. Pramod Jaiswal, Research Director at the Nepal Institute for International Cooperation and Engagement, who has graciously agreed to share his time, knowledge, and expertise with us despite his busy schedule. Dr. Jaiswal, we sincerely thank you for being here with us today and for contributing to our understanding of such a vital topic. Today's session holds immense importance for the entire SAARC region. As we know, South Asia is a culturally rich and diverse region where shared histories, traditions, and values weave a complex and beautiful fabric of interconnected societies. In this context, fostering people to people relations through culture is essential to promote harmony but also to strengthen the foundation of cooperation among our nations. By appreciating the impact of culture on these relations, we can better understand the bonds that unite us, transcending borders and addressing common challenges as a collective region. The role of culture in diplomacy, trade, and peace building cannot be underestimated. In South Asia, where political relations sometimes face challenges, it is our shared cultural heritage that often paves the way for deeper connections between our people. This special lecture aims to explore how these cultural dynamics influence and enrich our interconnections, shaping the future of our region. I would also like to take this opportunity to express my heartfelt gratitude to all the attendees, distinguished guests, and participants from across the SAARC countries. Your presence here today is a testament to the importance of this dialogue, and we hope that this session sparks fruitful discussions and fresh perspectives on how we can enhance regional cooperation through culture. I encourage everyone to actively engage in today's session. Your thoughts, ideas, and questions are invaluable as we explore this crucial subject together. This is not just a lecture, but an interactive platform for dialogue. Once again, thank you, Dr. Jaiswal, for being with us, and thank you to everyone for your attendance and commitment to strengthening people to people ties in South Asia. We look forward to a meaningful and insightful discussion ahead. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Madam Ekanayaka. Before Dr. Pramod begins with his lecture, let me introduce the speaker to our audience. Dr. Pramod Jaiswal is the research director at the Nepal Institute for International Cooperation and Engagement, NIS. He has been a regular and visiting faculty at different universities in Nepal and China. He is a fellow at Sandia National Laboratories Cooperative Monitoring Center Albuquerque, New Mexico, US, a senior fellow at the Institute of Peace and Conflict Studies, New Delhi, a non-resident fellow at India Studies Center, Ubon Ratchathani University, Thailand, and a senior research fellow at Institute for National and International Security, Belgrade. He is also an alumnus of the Near East South Asia Center, National Defense University, Washington, D.C. Previously, he was a researcher at South Asian Studies Institute of Asian Studies, Chulalongkorn University, Bangkok, and Manohar Parrikar Institute for Defense Studies Analysis, New Delhi. He holds a master's, MPhil, and PhD from the School of International Studies, Jawaharlal Nehru University, New Delhi. He is the recipient of the Silver Jubilee Scholarship and SAARC Doctoral Fellowship from the Indian Council for Cultural Relations, Government of India. He has authored, edited, and co-edited around 24 books on China and South Asian affairs. Dr. Pramod, over to you.
Thank you, Apsara, and thank you, Madam Director. At the outset, I must thank SAARC Culture Center for the kind invitation to this very important, to talk on a very important topic of today, the SAARC, and basically understanding South Asia through the culture and people-to-people relations. So let me share my slide. So in next 30 to 40 minutes that I have, I'll be talking about understanding South Asia, the impact of culture on people-to-people relations. Before I start, let me first look at South Asia as a region, how South Asia has emerged as a region, and how do South Asia look like. We all know that South Asia has geopolitical proximity. We all lies in one region. We have common history, we have common cultural linkages, and all of the countries have more or less similar political system. Almost everyone has democracy. Some component vary from one another. For example, Bhutan, we have a king, but they have a election. Then in India, we have democracy. Nepal, we also have democracy. But in Nepal and India, we have prime minister system. Then in Sri Lanka, we have presidential system. So in terms of geography, we are all together in one region. In terms of history, we all have a common history. In terms of culture, there are lots of linkages, and almost all of these countries have similar kind of political system, more or less, and even the economic system is almost similar. And all of these countries, after the Cold War, they thrive for a common identity. All countries come together under the framework of SAARC or under the framework of South Asia, try to promote their interest through this kind of regional groupings. In fact, regionalism started in South Asia after 1980s, after SAARC was evolved. Then all these kind of South Asia have been promoting regionalism, and SAARC is one of the platforms that we use. This whole region has a very dynamic economic growth, like especially India, which is the fastest economic growth in South Asia. Overall, as well, if you look at South Asia, it's the fastest growing economy. South Asia has the fastest growing economy in the world combined, as well as India has having one of the fastest economic growth. So that is one of the major factors. If this whole region, if the countries of South Asia are integrated, it can have a very prominent position. It can have an even further better position. In spite of not having very integrated economy, South Asia has been able to make itself as the fastest growing region of the world. But if we are integrated, I think we can have much better leverages. I think if we do at the moment, we are behind US. We have left US behind. We are the largest economy. South Asia is the second largest economy in the world after China, and leaving behind US. So that is where we are at the moment. But I think if we are able to integrate our economy, we can be the largest economy of the world. In terms of economy, as we discussed, that South Asia is second. But in terms of security as well, South Asia is very important, because South Asia has the largest militaries. India has a large military. India and Pakistan are nuclear powers. All that makes South Asia very important, even from the perspective of security. Similarly, South Asia also has a nuclear flash zone because of the conflict. Two nuclear power sitting together, that is very rare in this world. but we have that in South Asia. South Asia has been a region of great power play. You all know that different powers like Soviet in the past, Russia at the moment, United States, all different global powers want to have strong engagement into South Asia. They want to have a strong presence in South Asia. So South Asia is known as a region of great power play. In the past, there were versus US, now Russia versus US, or India versus China, and this kind of great power play is there in South Asia. South Asia is also known as pivot to Asia. It is believed that those who rule over South Asia will be able to rule over Asia, and those who rule over Asia will be able to rule over the world at the moment. That's why when Asia is very important, and in that Asia where South Asia is very important, which is seen as a fulcrum to Asia, the role of South Asia has further elevated. So South Asia is known as a pivot to Asia at the moment. Now, if you look at the global religions, like two of the largest religions, Hinduism and Buddhism, uh, are born in this region. Like Hinduism flourished, it was developed and flourished in South Asia. Buddha was born in Nepal, and then it spread all over South Asia. So South Asia is the birth of two major religions of the world, Hinduism and Buddhism. At the same time, there are a huge number of Muslims in this region. So the top religion, Hindu, Islam, and Buddhism, are the top religion in this region, because there are a substantial number of people who practice these three religions. As we discussed, we all know that South Asia also has a major conflict. We all know that Kashmir is the one between India and Pakistan, so it's also a region which has major conflicts. At the same time, South Asia has the largest island. Sri Lanka is a very huge island. Similarly, there's Maldives, which is archipelago. So South Asia has all kind of geographical topographies. The major river basins like Indus River is there, which is the center of human civilization, flows between Tibet and Pakistan. That also lies in South Asia. That's why people claim that this South Asia has the world's oldest civilization. The Ganges River, which is in northern India, is also flowing in this region. Brahmaputra River, another huge river, also flows from Tibet and enter India and Bangladesh. So the South Asia is a region for major river basins. There is also other kind of topographies, like there is extensive Thar Desert in Western India and parts of Pakistan. So we don't have only rivers, we also have different kind of deserts here. Balochistan, we all know where it is, and it has a dry and desert condition. So we have deserts as well in this region. Again, South Asia is very huge in terms of population. Like out of 10 countries, the 10 most populous country, 3 lies in South Asia. India, which is the world largest at the moment, it has overtaken China. Pakistan, which is roughly 5th, Bangladesh 6th. So out of 10 largest populous country in the world, 3 are in South Asia: India, Pakistan, and Bangladesh. And almost all the South Asian countries borders with India, either by physical or maritime boundary. So if you go to other regions, there are very few countries that they have boundary with one common country. But in South Asia, there is India in the center, and there are a number of countries around, and there is one country, India, which has border with almost every country of South Asia, either through physical or maritime boundary. And we all know that South Asia was very important, and it was dominated by British for a long time, almost a century, like almost 90 years. From 1857 to 1947, the rule of British in this region. Now, it also includes major part of Indian Ocean. Like South Asia region has Indian Ocean. It has the Himalayas, like the Mount Everest. It has the Arabian Sea, Bay of Bengal. So all kind of topography, all kind of geographical entities are there. Like we have the highest peak in the world called Mount Everest. Then we have Indian Ocean, which is very vast. We have seas like Arabian Sea and Bay of Bengal. So all these make this region very resources, because we have all kind of geographies. So all kind of geography, all kind of topography makes South Asia very unique and very special. We also know that there was colonialism. South Asia colonialism was there in South Asia, and during that time we got British administration, we got British railway, British education. So there's administration, railway system, transportation system, large cities All these were created in South Asia during the time of colonization. So we have this kind of infrastructure and connectivity. English is a major language. If you compare, look at the whole South Asia, huge number of people in this region speak English, can speak English. They have their own language, but English is also spoken. Uh, uh, this region is also dominated by all kind of conflict. We have all kind of conflict in South Asia, be it ethnic. Like in Sri Lanka, there's a long ethnic conflict. There are sometimes ethnic conflicts, sometimes in Bhutan, sometimes in India, sometimes in Nepal. There are religious conflict as well. Sometimes it's in India, sometimes in Pakistan, so or other countries. There's also border conflict between India and Pakistan. So we have all kind of conflict as well in South Asia. South Asia also has a unique history of merger and split. Sikkim was a different country; it merged into India. That is one example. And Bangladesh was a part of East Pakistan, West Pakistan, but it split into other. So South Asia has all kind of history. There are some countries have merged, or some countries have split. Today, South Asia is recognized term in terms of a region. Every country recognizes South Asia quite well. If you go to multilateral organizations, like if you go to IMF, International Monetary Fund, if you go to World Bank, WTO, World Trade Organization, or United Nations, you don't really explain yourself. If you say South Asia, the region is well defined, and they recognize South Asia as a region. And with the formation of SAARC, it has further consolidated its position. So this clearly states that South Asia as a region has been established a phenomena, and it is emerging at the moment. Now, let's look at what are the factors that guide South Asia that we're talking today. We all know that South Asia is very rich in terms of history and culture. It's very ancient. It starts several centuries ago, and it's very diverse. And it spans for millions of years, because Indus civilizations and all different civilizations started in this region. So South Asia is very rich in terms of culture, very rich in terms of history, and it's very one of the ancient civilizations. It is very diverse as well, and it has continued for millions of years. Both regions feature a strong historical background and varied culture. We all know that this region has a different kind of culture. There is a very strong historical background. There are different traditions. There are different religions, as we just discussed: Islam, Hinduism, Buddhism. There are different festivals people celebrate in this region in different parts of the country. There are different cuisines here as well. So we have all kind of different customs, different food, different festivals, different religions, different traditions, history, culture. That makes South Asia very unique. South Asia history dates back to the Indus Valley civilization, almost 3300 to 1300 BC, which is a long time. One of the oldest civilizations of the world. So South Asia is very rich in terms of the history and culture. Cultural traditions has flourished throughout different eras of South Asia that we talk about and we have experienced. Similarly, traditional arts and crafts such as textiles, wood, stone carving, traditional performance, pottery, all kind of traditional art and craft has existed in South Asia since decades, since centuries. Similarly, notable centuries-old cultural attractions are there. Many historical places, many places of great art, with great architecture, with great historical relevance are there. For example, Mohenjo-daro and Harappa archaeological sites are there. Mahabodhi Temple in Gaya, Pashupatinath Temple in Nepal, Shambhu Stupa in Kathmandu, ancient Darbar squares in Kathmandu and other parts of the South Asia, Taj Mahal in India, Taksang Monastery, Dambula Cave, Belghat, and several others. They're just few that we have named. There are several cultural sites, there are several archaeological sites that have a very strong, very rich historical stories behind it. So there are many archaeological sites in South Asia that have a very old, long traditions, long stories. And these sites have significant representation of South Asia's rich cultural heritage. Now, second is ethnicity, religion, and festival. As we just discussed, South Asia is very rich in ethnicity. It is very diverse. It has all kind of religion and all kind of festival. That makes South Asia very rich in terms of diversity and ethnicity. We have different kind of language. In a small country like Nepal, we have more than 100 languages. Even in Nepal, we have major religion. Almost all the religions are practiced. Different festivals are there. So South Asia, 8 countries, with 3 countries which comes into top 10 most populous country, means vast, huge population, and such a diverse, makes South Asia very unique, because South Asia is very unique because it has rich diversity, number of ethnicity, different languages, different religion, lots of festivals are celebrated. That's why South Asia is very colorful. South Asian ethnicities are primarily influenced by Indo-Aryan and Dravidian language families, while Southeast Asian ethnicities are shaped by the Austronesian language family. So we are a bit different. We belong to Indo-Aryan and Dravidian language family. Dominant religion of the world, like Buddhism, Hinduism, Islam, and Christianity, are followed here in South Asia. There are a remarkable number of people who follow Buddhism, or Islam, or Christian Hinduism. So, in terms of religion, South Asia is very diverse. South Asia is home to over 4,000 ethnicities and more than 5,000 languages, which highlights the richness of South Asian culture. Because 400 ethnicities is huge, 500 languages, it's more than 500 languages, makes it very diverse. Major ethnic groups in South Asia include Nepalese, Bhutanese, Indians, Sinhalese, and Bengalis. They are the major. They are not the only. Out of 400, the 4 or 5 major are Nepalese, Bhutanese, Indians, Sinhalese, and Bengalis. And there are also prominent religions in South Asia that we just discussed. Hinduism, apart from the major, there are many other religions like Hinduism, Buddhism, but there's also Jainism, Islam, and Christianity is there. Also Sikhism, and there are, people also believe have indigenous belief, folk religions. So there are animism. So new kind of religion are also there. A small group of people are there, but they follow different kind of beliefs. So South Asia do not only have major religion like Buddhism, Hinduism, Islam, and Christianity, but also other religion like Sikhism and other beliefs. Again, prominent in South Asia that we discussed, it's repeated. The presence of diverse ethnic religions has led to numerous festivals, as we have many religions, different ethnicity, very diverse people. That makes South Asia very colorful because number of ethnicities, number of religions has generated number of festivals here. So many people have different historical significance. Many religion, many cities have different historical significance. Notable South Asian festivals include Dasai, which is one of the Nepal's major festival. It is celebrated almost for 2 weeks. Diwali, which we are starting very soon. In Nepal, it's celebrated for 5 days. In India, 2-3 days. Holi, it's very colorful, a festival of color, highly celebrated in Nepal and India. Eid, celebrated throughout South Asia. Buddha Purnima in almost all the South Asian countries, or Basak. Guru Parv, Losar among the Tibetan or Buddhist population. Navaratri among Hindus. Durga Puja, Tetsu. So we have all kind of festivals. We have Buddhist festivals, Hindu festivals, Eid for Muslims, and other people also have their own different festivals. So South Asia is very rich, very colorful in terms of festival, and some of the major festivals are Dasai, Diwali, Holi, Eid, Buddha Purnima, Guru Parv, Losar, Navratri, Durga Puja, and Tetsu. Similarly, there are also water festivals like Holi in Nepal and India, and Songkran in Thailand. It's similar to that. Thailand is not part of South Asia, but similar festival like Songkran in Thailand. We have color festival in Nepal and India, Holi and celebrated in Nepal and India. South Asia are known for their warmth, kindness, and hospitality. You go around South Asia. I have been to many countries. If you go to Bangladesh, if you go to Sri Lanka or India, Nepal, people are very welcoming. They are very hospitable. They are very kind towards their guests. So South Asia is known for its warmth and hospitalities. What are the factors that divide South Asia? In spite of having several factors that unite, there are few factors that also divide South Asia. One is religious tension. We all know that South Asia history of partition. There was a British, and after British left, 2 countries formed: India, Hindu major India, and Muslim major Pakistan, and then a series of the history behind it. the Kashmir emerged, and then new tension also emerged with that. Then there is religious internal religious tensions are there in South Asia. Different countries like Sri Lanka, there is some tension between Hindus and Tamil Hindus. Buddhist and Tamil Hindus. Uh, in India, there is sometime between Hindu and Muslims. In Nepal, sometime between secular and non-secular. In different countries, there are some kind of religious tensions at some point of time. At the same time, there are ethnicity and linguistic diversity. Now, the advantage of South Asia is that Nepal is South Asia is very diversified. They have diversity in terms of ethnicity. So that's the advantage. At the same time, it also poses disadvantages sometimes, because with diversity and ethnicity, ethnic diversity or linguistic diversity, sometimes it creates conflicts. So South Asia, being a very diverse in terms of ethnic groups, sometimes it has fostered regionalism, which has led to tensions. So there are sometimes linguistic tensions, sometimes ethnic tensions between, like in Nepal, there are Madhesi versus Pahari, or in Sri Lanka, Tamil versus Sinhalese, or in Bangladesh, different kind of ethnic tensions has emerged at times. Similarly, linguistic in India, sometimes Hindi versus rest, or sometimes Urdu versus other languages, or Bengali versus Urdu. So this kind of diversity debates has also emerged, and sometimes it has led to conflict or tension in South Asia. Third is territorial and geopolitical tension. We all know that India-Pakistan rivalry and all. Kashmir has its own history, which you are all aware of. Similarly, there are sometimes internal separatist movement in India, sometimes in Pakistan, Nepal, or Sri Lanka, where a group of people want to have a separate country. So there are also internal separatist movement in South Asia. There is also diversity in terms of political ideology and governance, and that has also led to some tensions that have divided us sometimes. Like India has a kind of stable democracy since independence, but in other countries it has fluctuated. In Nepal, sometimes we had democracy, then we didn't, we lose it, then there was reintroduction, then there was absolute monarchy, then again we got democracy. So this kind of ups and downs are there in almost all the South Asian countries except India. So that is one factor. Political ideology and governance also divide South Asia. In some of the countries of South Asia, there is also caste and class divide. In Nepal, India, there is caste system. Dalits are known as a low people from lower strata. They are deprived of certain rights. Though it is not practiced at the moment legally, but still, it exists in certain parts of South Asia. There is economic inequalities between rural and urban population in the whole South Asia. So that is class divide. So South Asia is also known for a region that is divided in terms of caste, basically in India, Nepal, and other countries, or in caste or in class. The whole South Asia is divided in terms of class because economic inequality exists throughout the region. So these are the area that divides South Asia. Other is non-security threats. For example, Indus Water Treaty issue between Pakistan and India sometimes poses threat, sometimes poses tensions. Climate change is also another factor because South Asia is very vulnerable to climate change. In Nepal, we have melting of glaciers. In Bangladesh, there is rise of sea level. Most of the part of land is underwater. Environmental degradation, economic migration are leading to displacement. So these are the new threats that are emerging in South Asia. There's also competition for access of resources, be it water, energy, all that also create tension in South Asia. South Asia also have other problems like migration and refugee crisis. Rohingya refugee movement at the moment is very severe. We had a Bhutanese refugee during 1990s. So these kind of new tensions are there in South Asia that divides the region. And this kind of migration has also fueled debates over citizenship, identity, and security in the region, and that has created rift at times. Apart from that, terrorism and extremism is also there. The presence of militant groups has affected South Asia. Almost every country of South Asia is a victim of terror. They are struggling to fight against terrorism, and there are many organizations that have been working against that. Extremist ideologies exist there. including religious and nationalist extremism, are there, which has divided South Asia. Let's look at how SAARC has worked for people-to-people connectivity. SAARC has played an important role in promoting people-to-people connectivity. Uh, in spite of having in spite of having common culture, common history, South Asia is not so integrated like in the past. After this region became free from the British colonialism, the connectivity, the physical connectivity was disrupted. New countries emerged, and with that, the railway connectivity, roads, all started disappearing. So compared to past, compared to the time of colonialism, South Asia is least integrated. In the past, people from India could travel to India, Pakistan, Bangladesh, throughout the region. Now it's not possible. But through regional organizations like SAARC, these things we are trying to revive that. We will not talk about other kind of connectivity. We'll try to talk more about people-to-people connectivity. Enhancing people-to-people connectivity is one of the major objectives of SAARC. SAARC has been working. SAARC's one major objective is to bring people of South Asia together. How they can bring them together through, talking about their culture, history, reviving trade and all. So that is one that SAARC is strongly working on. And there are several initiatives that SAARC has taken to promote people-to-people connectivity. There are different organizations that are spread throughout South Asia. All these different organizations of SAARC, they're not only in South Asia, they're in different parts of South Asia who are working for promoting SAARC, who are working to promote regionalism. And in this whole process, they're also talking to promote people-to-people connectivity. So that is one factor that is very important. There are different institutions, there are different initiatives. For example, SAARC Audiovisual Exchange Program. Different countries of South Asia, they exchange audiovisual recordings and try to spread awareness about each other. Through that program, almost all the countries of South Asia are able to understand each other. They are able to recognize each other. They are able to see that they have different common culture. They are able to see that they have so many similarities. Similarly, there is SAARC Documentation Center, SAARC scheme for promotion of organized tourism. So they can promote tourism in the region. And tourism will promote people-to-people connections, people-to-people interactions. SAARC chair, SAARC fellowship, scholarship issue. For example, I was a SAARC doctoral fellow. I went to study in India from Nepal through SAARC fellowship. So that is how I came to know more about India. I got to study more about South Asia because I was a SAARC doctoral fellow at Center for South Asian Studies at JNU. So that is an opportunity for us to interact, to engage. Similarly, there's SAARC Youth Volunteer Program that exists. Youth of SAARC are able to have engagement in the region, know about each other, and promote regionalism, promote integration, promote people-to-people connectivity. So that is another factor that played a role. Similarly, there is SAARC Visa Exemption Scheme, because in spite of being one region, in spite of having so many common features, in spite of having so many linkages, because of visa regime, it's very complicated for us to interact. It's very difficult for us to move in the region. But through SAARC, these kind of things are being under discussion, and there are lots of relaxation compared than in the past. But still, it's very complicated. But still, SAARC is working in that direction. Similarly, there is South Asian Festival, South Asian Film Festival, sometimes there's South Asian Music Festival, different kind of South Asian Food Festival, different kind of initiatives are there in the region among the South Asian countries. There are also non-government organizations working together, different think tanks, different university. Now we have a South Asia University, different kind of organization also bringing South Asians together, and that has enhanced people-to-people connectivity. Similarly, there is Association of SAARC speakers and parliamentarians. It's not only common people, but even not only non-government organizations like media or business group, women group, but even SAARC speakers or SAARC parliamentarians, the leader of SAARC countries, they're also having association, and they are coming together and they're trying to enhance people-to-people connectivity. So there are media group, There are women entrepreneurs, different business group, scholars, speakers, uh, uh, parliamentarians, leaders, even security personnel. Different kind of associations are there that are promoting people-to-people connectivity uh, uh, in SAARC or in South Asia. Similarly, there are SAARC Chamber of Commerce and Industry, as we just discussed. And this has deepened people-to-people ties. As we just said, that civil society of South Asia are working to create communication networks amongst academicians, writers. We have SAARC Writers Group, SAARC Scholars Group, artists, journalists, even retired military or civil servant. We have all kind of civil societies in South Asia that are working to promote people-to-people contact, to enhance people-to-people connect, and to make it easier for people in South Asia to come together and work for the region. These independent networks are growing its importance day by day, and they are operating outside of traditional government framework. All these organizations, like sometimes there are scholars group of South Asia, or writers of South Asia, journalists. They do not always work under the framework of government. Sometimes they work through the civil societies, through non-government organizations, and that is very effective. So there are different layers of interactions between the SAARC countries. The people of SAARC countries, they are working independently, not only through government. So that has enhanced connectivity in the region. Similarly, there is track to diplomacy initiatives. Apart from the government initiative, there are track to initiatives like through think tanks. They are trying to promote cooperation in South Asia. They're trying to diffuse tension between South Asian countries, like especially between India and Pakistan. There are a number of track to initiatives. There are a number of NGOs. There are a number of civil societies that wanted to create a favorable environment to promote regionally in South Asia. And there are numerous in number, a huge number. There are several such civil societies working on track to diplomacy in the region. Similarly, there are legal communities of SAARC member countries that are also trying to work on fostering cooperation. They're trying to, if there are some laws that hinders cooperation, they're trying to work on those. So there are also legal communities, the lawyers, they're coming together among the SAARC member countries and trying to resolve the differences, the problems that hinders cooperation in the region. Similarly, there are even prominent leaders. For example, former Indian Prime Minister I.K. Gujral. He was one of the greatest proponent of South Asia, and he emphasized the unofficial SAARC effort, which was very important during his tenure because it may become the driving force behind official SAARC procedures. He said that new kind of regionalism is needed. He said that apart from SAARC, unofficial SAARC is very important. The people of South Asia, the people of SAARC, they should not only work through government channels, not only official channels, but they should also have unofficial channels, and that can promote South Asia at a better pace. So he emphasized on new regionalism, not only official regionalism, but also unofficial, informal, or you can say through people-to-people connectivity, we can encourage that. SAARC as a multilateral organization has been hindered by bilateral issues. We know the issues that exist between SAARC that has been a stumble block that has stumbled the process, but this may change with the expansion of people-driven inter-regional connectivity, because we know that unlike in the past, now different organizations, civil societies are trying to push for that. So the role of civil society, role of individuals, role of scholars, writers, artists, journalists, security personnel, civil servants are important, academicians are important, and they are going to change that in future. Now let's briefly talk about cultural connection between the South Asian countries. I just take a few examples, not all. There are 8 countries, and it's not possible to talk about all the 8 countries and their interconnection with all the 8 countries. But what I've done is I tried to few examples. So one of them is Nepal and India. If you look at cultural connections, almost Nepal and India is one country when it comes to culture. In terms of culture, there is not major variation between Nepal and India. We have common religion, we have common pilgrimages, we have common religious sites, because both Nepal and India has huge number of Hindus and Buddhists, and Hinduism and Buddhism form a core of cultural diplomacy in these 2 countries, Nepal and India. And the people of the Hindus and Buddhists of Nepal and India, they have shared pilgrimages, like for example Pashupatinath. Pashupatinath is in Kathmandu. It's very religious. Every year, thousands and thousands of, every month, thousands of Indian Hindus come to Pashupatinath, or they go to Muktinath. Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi went to Muktinath, or he also went to Lumbini. So Lumbini is the birthplace of Buddha. So many Buddhists from India, Sri Lanka, Bhutan, they come to Lumbini for pilgrimage. Similarly, many Nepalese go to Char Dham in India, Banaras, Ayodhya, Bodh Gaya. So there are different sacred sites in both the countries that have very special meaning. They have spiritual bonds that unite the people of Nepal and India together. There is huge potential of Nepal and India promoting Ramayana circuit. Because there are lots of Hindu linkages. Even Buddhist circuit are important that can promote people-to-people exchanges. So I think in Nepal and India, religious sites and pilgrimages are the core of cultural diplomacy that builds a strong bonds between two countries that no country can replace. Second is population migration. There are almost around 6 lakhs Indian in Nepal, and almost 6 million, which is 80 lakh Nepali are in India, working in different sectors. So there are a huge number of people in each country, each other's country. So again, there's open border and family ties are there. Nepal, India have open border. Anyone can cross the border anytime without any passport, without any visa. Any Nepali can go to India anytime. Any Indian can come to Nepal anytime without visa, without passport. We have open border. There are cross-border marriages. Many Nepalese have got married to Indians. Many Indians have got married to Nepali. At the border, if you go to the border towns, almost 50% people have, relatives on the other side. I come from the similar area, and half of my family member comes from India. So that has a very strong bond. Open border, cross-border family ties is one of the major, is a core of cultural diplomacy between two countries. Language and cultural assimilation is very common. Maithili, Hindi, Bhojpuri, Nepali, these are the major languages. Many Indians, like in Sikkim, Northeast, there's our people in Uttarakhand, Himachal Pradesh, they speak Nepali. Similarly, many in Nepal, they speak Maithili, Hindi, Bhojpuri. So there's a common language that binds us. Media and movies. In Nepal, many Nepalese like to watch Hindi movies. In India also, many Nepali movies are telecast, or broadcasted. Nepalese, Manisha Koirala is from Nepal. She's quite famous in India because she works in Bollywood. So this kind of collaboration between cinemas, our craze about each other's movies is there. Many Indians movies are watched here in Nepal. Similarly, cultural and academic cooperation also exists. Nepal and India has strong cultural and academic cooperation. India supports various cultural, academic, media initiatives, different film festival, food festival, poetry festival, all are supported by India. People like India Nepal Foundation are there that provide a scholarship, that foster educational exchange. Indian Council of Cultural Relations, all these are promoting education, scientific exchange of scientists, exchange of cultural ambassadors, you can say, or artists. These things are being exchanged in South Asia between Nepal and India. There are also several MOUs between the two countries that I have listed here. Since I'm running out of time, let me be quick on this. There's also a strong cultural link between India and Pakistan, because we all know that shared heritage. In the past, India, Bangladesh, and Pakistan were one country, so they have common heritage. North India and East Pakistan, they share cultural, linguistic, culinary similarities that comes from ancient times. They also have likes for each other's media and entertainment. In Nepal or in India, people watch Pakistani serials. Pakistani artists are famous. In Pakistan as well, Indian Bollywood or Indian singers are very famous. So people of India and Pakistan, they like each other's singer, their musicians, their actors are popular in each other's country. Punjab and Sikhism is another. The Punjab region, which was divided during the partition, retained culture connection between India and Pakistan, because a part of Pakistan is also in India. Similarly, Nanka Sahib in Pakistan's Punjab, the birthplace of Guru Nanak, draws millions of Indian Sikh people annually. So that is still practiced at the moment. Sindhi and Muhajir communities are there. Sindhi people are the natives to Pakistani Sindhi province, and they have presence in India as well. That who came to India during partition. Similarly, Muhajir community in Karachi, they consist of Muslims who migrated from India, and they still have several family members in India at the moment. There are culture initiatives that exist between two countries, like media initiatives like Aman Ki Asa and many others were there, which was in collaboration with the Times of India and Pakistan's Jung Group. They used to promote culture diplomacy. They used to promote people-to-people relation between two countries. There is also cultural link between India and Sri Lanka, because in terms of race and ethnicity, there is a number of there is similarities. There are cultural ties. There are identical. There are similar ethnicity. So that is one. In terms of language, there are similarities. Tamil is spoken in both the countries. In terms of colonization legacies, both India and Sri Lanka were under British colony, so they have linkages because in the past, uh, uh, when British were there in India and Sri Lanka, there are places like Nurelia, Uti in India that was developed by Britishers that still exists at the time. In terms of food, again, many Sri Lankan food and food of South India is similar. Both India and Sri Lanka are also bound by cricket, even India and Pakistan. So there's also sports that bind the two countries together. Again, looking at culture link between India and Bangladesh is very important because we know that after Bangladesh became independent, or Bangladesh was formed in 1971, both the countries established very strong ties, and they have similarities in terms of language. There are a huge number of Bengali speaking language in West Bengal of India and Bangladesh. In terms of religion, both people in Bangladesh and India, they practice Hinduism and Islam. In terms of culture and tradition, there are similarities because both West Bengal and Bangladesh, they have common religions. There is like a large number of Muslim population in both the sides, and they have shared celebration like Durga Puja is celebrated in both Bangladesh and India. Eid in both the sides, Bengali New Year, Diwali. There are common festivals that is celebrated between India and Bangladesh. In terms of food as well, in terms of cuisine, many of the food of Bangladesh is liked by West Bengal and other parts of India. There are people in India who loves their food. So the cuisine also combines or it connects the people of India and Bangladesh. Lastly, let's look at culture similarity between Bhutan and Nepal. In terms of geography, Bhutan and Nepal lies on the Himalayan belt. There's common similar lifestyle. Himalayan Buddhist influence is one that is binding both the countries. So this is a factor. Nepal and Bhutan both have deep-rooted Buddhist tradition. We have common rituals. We have number of monasteries, pilgrimages, which are very important for each other. That is one. In terms of religion, as we said, like Buddhism, the huge number of Buddhists in Nepal and Bhutan. So Buddhism unites us. In terms of culture, traditional architecture, our language, many Bhutanese speak Nepali. There are different customs or dress that is common. Similarly, spiritual and community well-being of both the countries are very similar. Like Bhutan's grossness and happiness, it has certain values with Nepal's value of communal harmony. Nepal also practices similar form. Grossness and happiness is very prominent in Bhutan, but we also practice it in different form. There is also preservation of heritage. Both Nepal and Bhutan love to protect their cultural heritage, and we can see how they have preserved since ancient times. Now, impact of people-to-people relations. I think SAARC initiatives are very important for promoting people-to-people relations, and they have done remarkable well. They have done a number of amazing work where SAARC has brought people of different SAARC countries together. So promotion of people education has been a remarkable achievement of SAARC, but at times it has hindered due to political pressure, regional constraints, or problem within the member countries. Uh, the inability of member states to cooperate is a major problem, because of strict visa regime due to lack of connectivity like in the past, or even the political tensions that has restrict people with connectivity. But SAARC has been struggling to overcome that. Restrictions also sometimes due to political conflict also impact the region, and that also uh, hinders people to people connectivity, because trade is also a platform to promote people to people relations. So since trade at times is restricted, trade at times is affected by political conflict, it has brought impact on people to people relations in South Asia. Various social development programs, such as such as social development programs such as healthcare, education, poverty alleviation has also been affected because of the same reason, because of disagreement and political, due to political disagreements. Many other programs are also affected that has impacted the people. The region is affected by war on terror. We all know that. But in all this process, I think SAARC has been very successful. They have been struggling. They have got achievement, but they should continue to do that. That we just discussed, like promoting of exchanges through education. For example, SAARC fellowship. Those are very important. That has been continuing at the moment. Youth festivals of SAARC are very important, which has been happening, but sometimes delayed. Cultural programs, SAARC music festivals or film festivals, food festivals. These are very important to promote people-to-people connections among the SAARC countries. I think it's very important at the time when SAARC is trying to struggle to expand its influence in the region. I'd like to end here. Thank you.
Thank you, sir, for your very interesting and sweeping survey of this incredibly diverse region called South Asia, and you highlighted innumerable commonalities that bind this region together. So with this note, we will now open for Q&A. So in the interest of time, we kindly request you to keep your comments brief, and if need be, you can also share your comments in the chat box as well. So there's a question in the chat box.
Okay. There's like next SAARC general meeting. Is there any possible of it? Actually, I'm not in a position to talk about the next meeting of SAARC, because firstly, I'm not working with SAARC. So I'm not aware whether next SAARC general meeting is taking place very soon. But what I can say is that it should happen. I mean, me being a proponent of SAARC, I want SAARC to be active. Revival of SAARC is important for Nepal, for the region. Since SAARC headquarters in Nepal, Nepal has a special love for SAARC. So Nepalese love to propagate SAARC, not only because we have headquarters, but also the relevance, the achievement that SAARC has made in last few decades. At the same time, the idea of regional cooperation is very important. So in that sense, I can say that SAARC should have a general meeting very soon. We should have a SAARC convention very soon. Is SAARC death organization? No, SAARC has not died as an organization, because SAARC is a history. The achievement that SAARC has done so far, there are numerous organizations who have not achieved that. You can hear about many organizations that have not even achieved what SAARC has achieved till now. So we have, you saw that there are different initiatives done by SAARC, which we have done remarkable well. That SAARC centers around the region. There are areas that we cover. There are different civil society. There are not huge engagement. There are huge opportunities. So I think SAARC as an institution cannot die. It has been inactive, and I think it has to be proactive. Second question is, what role does cultural diplomacy play in enhancing people to? It's very important at the time when the political differences oversee SAARC, when the political differences has put SAARC on quote unquote coma. I think is the people of South Asia can come together and take it out of coma. The people of South Asia can promote cultural diplomacy, enhance connectivity, and pressurize the member countries to keep bilateral issues at the side and talk about issues that are of mutual concern for all the member countries. So keeping bilateral tension aside or keeping certain differences aside, the people of South Asia can come together and pressurize the member countries to talk about regionalism, to talk about issues that are of regional concern, to talk about issues that are of global concern. So I think the role of cultural diplomacy is very, very important. Again, I go to the first question, that is SAARC dead? No, it's not, because people of South Asia cannot allow that. Maybe certain factor, maybe the meeting where the head of the states has to sit together, it can differ. They can cancel that, but they cannot cancel all the engagement between SAARC member states. So at times, because of political differences, maybe political leaders can postpone SAARC, put SAARC on hold, but the people of SAARC can come together and always have interaction. For example, the thing that are happening today, uh, I'm talking from Nepal to people in South Asia, and one of the SAARC center, which is located in Colombo, is organizing that. Now, the political tension has not impacted us. So these kind of initiatives are very important to keep SAARC active, to promote SAARC, and encourage enhance deeper cooperation, and also precise countries to keep that kind of political tensions aside. The third question is the richness in diversity in South Asia, but the region has seen different types of conflict. What kind of initiatives can be taken to take care of such issues and increase integrity in region? I think it's a very important question, like that we discussed today. SAARC or South Asia is very diverse. There are different language, culture, religion, even topography, number of rivers, crossing across different SAARC countries. That is a beauty. At the same time, it's a challenge, because if you can't manage diversity, if you cannot manage all those cross-border issues, it can be risky and it can create conflict. Now, what kind of initiative? I think there is only one initiative. SAARC is a platform for the countries to come together, sit together, and discuss together on the issues of regional issues. So I think that is what SAARC can do. If there are differences like climate change, or maybe about diversity, or promoting the kind of people, they can come together and bring different initiatives. Like, for example, the whole region is for terrorism. SAARC can work on this. SAARC can work on economic issues. SAFTA is there. So all the SAARC member countries can come together, put their issues on the table, and discuss that. So SAARC can be a platform which can put the SAARC people together and discuss and find a way out. So I think SAARC is a platform for us to find a resolution of many of our problems that exist there at the moment. Other question is, when you look into regional consolidation, given the diversity and multiplicity, how you see people-to-people connection in future, when bilateral relations are often heavily influenced by domestic internet. Again, in South Asia, we're talking about South Asia as a region. Now Europe is visa-free. You don't need visa to go to within the European Union. It came much later, but before colonization, South Asia had won. So now, because of new political borders, there are problems, and that problem is not unavoidable. It's not unnegotiable. It's not unresolvable. So I think the countries of SAARC, the member countries, can sit together and look at a larger perspective. They should look at what Europe has achieved. South Asia should see what they can achieve in integration, what they can achieve in expanding connectivity, how they can benefit economically, how the life of people of South Asia can be transformed, how South Asia can be a most vibrant economic zone in this world. So if the countries of South Asia, if the people of South Asia can come together and vision the reality, looking at the future, I think these problems are not big problems. I think they can influence, they can pressurize their countries to come together to put that aside, because obviously bilateral tensions are important, that has to be resolved, but this domestic internal politics, bilateral relations should not hurt the regional goals. So that is very important. I think if all the member countries, the people of member countries can come together and they try to reflect and they try to project the advantage that they can bring to South Asia with integration, with easy visa regime, with open connectivity, open trade, I think these issues can be resolved. So I think it's the people, it's the intellectual, it's the civil society has to come forward, the business communities has to come forward and pressurize their leadership to, look at a larger regional gains than the bilateral gains. Obviously, they can resolve at the bilateral front, but SAARC has provided a platform, and that is very advantageous for all the regions. Third is, what are the main obstacle of people to country in SAARC? I think the first is visa regime. There is very strong visa regime in South Asia. Nepal and India don't need visa, but India and Pakistan, Pakistan and India, Bangladesh, India, countries in the region, it's not easy for them to move within the region. Again, that is one of the major reasons. I think one is visa, second is connectivity. It's cheaper to fly from Kathmandu to US than Kathmandu to Islamabad. You just check the air tickets. It's cheaper to go to New York. It takes almost 12 hours or 18 hours to go to New York. Even I think not 12 hours. It takes almost 18 hours to go to New York. But if you have direct flight, you can go to Islamabad in 2 hours. So this is the major problem. One is visa, second is connectivity. Air connectivity, land connectivity, water, all kind of connectivity are important. The main obstacle of people to people connectivity is visa and physical connectivity. We can't, Nepalese can't go to Pakistan by road. We have to go to Dubai, and which is in a different direction altogether, and then again come back to Islamabad. Indians also have the same problem. They can't go to Pakistan directly. It's now Kathmandu and Colombo is connected. It was not there for a long time. Now we have Bhutan, Thimphu and Kathmandu connected. Bangladesh and Kathmandu are connected. Still, we don't have Kathmandu and Male. Still, we don't have Kathmandu and Afghanistan. So this connectivity, air connectivity, land connectivity are not there. If there is land connectivity from Nepal, we could go to Dhaka, we can go to India, we can go to Bhutan, we can go to almost all the South Asian countries, by land except Maldives and Sri Lanka. So I think that is very important to promote people-to-people relations. Another question by Bimala, which is on South Asia has diverse in geographical ways. There are many attractive places all over South Asia. How can SAARC leverage tourism to promote? I think this is a lot we can do. So you don't have to go to Europe, You can go to Maldives, you can go to Lakshadweep in India. You don't need to go to Alps. You can come to Kathmandu, Nepal. You can see the world's best mountains. We can go to the world's beautiful water is there in Sri Lanka, in Maldives. Desert are there in India. So we have all kind of geography. There is huge potential for tourism. We don't have to go to deserts of Dubai, but for that we need connectivity. If SAARC understands that, if SAARC is able to if SAARC member countries are able to understand that there is huge opportunities. Buddhist circuit, there are lots of Buddhist pilgrimage in South Asia, Sri Lanka, Bhutan, India, many, the huge number of Buddhists. Similarly, there are many Hindus in India, Nepal, Hindu circuit, Buddhist circuit. Similarly, other kind of, Himalayan tourism, adventure tourism. If you want to see the mountain, you can come to Nepal. If you want to go enjoy the waters, you can go to India, Chittagong or Colombo. So there's huge potential for tourism in this region, but all we need is easy visa, easy connectivity. Other by Aditya, in what ways can digital connectivity enhance SAARC's people? I think it's very important because one, digital connectivity is a vast area. It's not only like we are connected digitally now. Now, I don't have to come to different SAARC countries to talk about SAARC. We can talk about here online. So that is one. It has digital connectivity, very important through internet, through Facebook, social media, new media has transformed and that has enhanced. Second, with digital connectivity, we also have digital public infrastructures like payment system. Now, people from India can easily come to Nepal and pay from their own UPay. Now we don't have to carry cash to go to India. Indian, we don't have to carry cash to come to Nepal. Similar initiatives are being, I think, evolved. Like I think Sri Lanka and Nepal is in negotiation. I don't know about Bangladesh and Nepal, but new kind of digital payment system are coming. In Nepal we have an app called Pathao, which is made by a Bangladesh company, and it's available in Bangladesh. So when I go to Dhaka, I don't need a new app. I can use Pathao in Dhaka, Pathao in Nepal. Same app works for getting a taxi. So these kind of public infrastructures, digital connectivity, digital infrastructures are very important because that can integrate the society. In the past, Pakistani serial were banned in certain countries, but now you can watch it online. So that has, enhanced people to people. So I think this kind of digital connectivity has transformed when the head of the states, when the political tensions has altered the relations. At the time, people-to-people connectivity is enhanced by digital connectivity. When there are no roads, when there are no visa, when the political connectivity is not there, digital connectivity has brought people of countries in the region together. Now, what is the difference between racism and... Let me avoid that question because I'm not well versed. At the same time, it's not on the topic. So let me take few more questions based on today's topic. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much for your interesting talk. And on behalf of the SAARC Cultural Center, I once again thank Dr. Pramod Jaiswal for accepting our invitation to be part of the SAARC Special Lecture Series. And finally, I would like to thank all those who are present here and thank you for being with us. And please do continue to support us in our future events and programs. On that note, we conclude this session and request all our viewers to check updates on our upcoming events and programs on our Facebook page and also on our website www.saarculture.org. Thank you, sir, Dr. Pramod Jaiswal, and have a pleasant evening, everyone. Thank you.
Thank you, Apsara and Madam Director. Thank you so much for the opportunity.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Have a nice day.